Welcome to the ultimate soccer betting playbook. This is Just Win Footy Bets, baby, with JoeDaFan, live on the Believe Network.
It is, of course, the continuation of the World Cup for round 32 as Team USA moves on, but at what cost? JoeDaFan here for Just Win Footy Bets, here to talk about not only what's going to happen today in the world of the World Cup, but also what took place yesterday. As we look at the agenda right here, guys, you can see here we have a nice slate for you as the game started at 3 o'clock. We'll recap, of course, in yesterday's games and win-losses. Not too good yesterday, but we will bounce back today, I can assure you. Our 3 o'clock game will be Spain taking on Austria. Portugal, Croatia, that's a game that I'm looking forward to seeing. That's going to take place at 7 o'clock in Toronto. And then the one that's taking place late tonight in Vancouver is, of course, Switzerland in Algeria. So let's, of course, talk about what took place yesterday. We hit on this one with both, we missed on this one. I stand corrected. As I predicted under 2.5 total goals, it went over 2.5 total goals in the England DR Congo game, which took place yesterday in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. England survived a massive World Cup scare in Atlanta, coming from behind to secure a dramatic 2-1 victory over the resilient DR Congo side, making the first appearance in a World Cup knockout stage. The Leopards threatened one of the tournament's greatest upsets. However, a late double from England captain Harry Kane spared Thomas Tuchel's side from disaster, assuring the Three Lions advancing to the round 16. We will talk about who they face next. But for the first time in the World Cup history, England successfully won a match after trailing at halftime, snapping a streak of 9 previous failures, 2 draws, and 7 losses. Let's talk about the surprising shocker in yesterday's game. In minute number 7 with the goal by DR Congo, going up 1-0. The underdog stunned England. Just 7 minutes into match, a cross-field ball from the right was flicked on by Mbaba to an entirely unmarked Brian Sapiga, who fired a low-effort past Jordan Pickford at his near post, causing the English chaps, my lads, over across the pond, down 1-0. Another opportunity here. The 19th minute here was a caution, a yellow card caution, as Jude Bellingham picks up a yellow card as England struggled to handle the press that was coming from DR Congo. This is something that we need to talk about as well, as cards are going to not only talk about in this game, but other games, as you probably saw the World Cup yesterday, these matches. In the 45th minute, it looked like DR Congo was going to go up, okay, going into the halftime with that 1-0 lead, until we had, of course, a brilliant save by the keeper of DR Congo. First half stop to deny 2 Bellingham's headers and a close-range Kane volley. At the other end, of course, Wassa struck the post from inside the 6-yard box, missing a golden opportunity to go up 2-0 before the break for DR Congo. And then that could have been, turn off the lights, the party's over for England. However, after a long discussion, trust me, in the locker room, England came out swinging in the second half, in the beginning of the second half, but still no opportunity until the 75th minute, where the great Harry Kane, following a tactical change from Tuchel, bringing in Anthony Gordon. And the pressure paid off as Declan Rice played the ball to Gordon, whose chip cross found Harry Kane to head home the equalizer. I thought that was a brilliant move by Tuchel. Finally, he figured it out. You cannot go straight with these guys. You got to go more aerial, and that's exactly what they did. They tried to do that towards the end of the first half, but they succeeded in the second. About a little over 10 minutes later, Harry Kane again making it 2-1. The skipper completed the rescue act in the world-class fashion, receiving a pass from Gordon again. With his back to the goal, Kane turned away from his marker on the edge of the D and lashed an absolutely unstoppable rising strike into the top corner. So, where do we go from here? What's next for England? Well, I'll tell you this. They're taking on Mexico, who has not conceded a goal yet. So, this is something that's going to take place in Mexico City. One's got to ask, is Mexico ever going to get out of Mexico to play? I don't think that's fair. I understand they're the host nation or one of the co-host nations of it, but I mean, Mexico has been playing all their games in Mexico. I'm just saying. So I think that with that England being rewarded the surviving of that scare, it's a massive round of 16 clash against the tournament co-host with Mexico. This match will take place at the historic Mexico City Stadium, Estadio Azteca, on July the 6th. So that'll be in a few days. We'll see what happens there. But hey, England survives. Next, of course, we have a heartbreaker in my eyes. I feel real bad for this team. I really, really do. And I think it was wrong of how it ended. I'll explain in just a second. Senegal taking on Belgium. It was an absolute heartbreaker for Senegal and an unforgettable historic escape for Belgium. Belgium was down 2-0. 2-0! And they came back. I was glad that they came back, but the way that it ended, I was not happy. Let's talk about that. It ended up, of course, 3-2 in extra time as Belgium does move on. Senegal dominated the first hour. The first hour of the match. The first 60 minutes of the match, okay? Troubling, of course, the goalkeeper from Real Madrid, okay, early on. In the 25th minute, a sublime cross from Mané found Sarr. We talked about that yesterday. We do hit on this bet where both teams to score at minus 122. So I'm glad that we hit that bet. The Sarr's header crashed off the post. Diarra was the sharpest man in the box, pouncing on the loose ball to give Senegal a deserved 1-0 lead. I love the way that Senegal played. I still love the way Senegal played. I am completely heartbroken how this turned out. 6 minutes into the second half, Senegal doubled their advantage in spectacular fashion. Kamara delivered a pinpoint cross-field diagonal ball to Sarr, who took it on his chest before firing a clinical volley pass. The goalkeeper of Belgium making it 2-0. The Lions looked very well on their way to the round of 16. Now, the Red Devils' late resurrection, meaning Belgium, looked down and out until Rudy Garcia's substitution began to turn the tide. 86th minute, super sub. They bring in Thomas Müller, got behind Senegal's back line and picked out Lukaku, who expertly poked home his first-time finish to make it 2-1. Again, this was the 86th minute. So, still, Senegal should have, they substituted, but they should have substituted and take more time off the clock. 3 minutes later, Seattle Stadium descended into pure pandemonium. This, of course, coming from Belgium. He clipped an invitating ball into the area where Telemans rose above the defenders to nod it past the goalkeeper, tying the game at 2-2 and forcing extra time. We had a live bet on this. We said that Senegal would win in penalties. We also said that that this game would go into penalty kicks. When I say penalties, it's penalty kicks. Now the ultimate VAR twist. Extra time was an end-to-end, exhausting thriller. Back and forth. If you guys don't know, it's 15 minutes on one side, 15 minutes on the other side. So a total of 30 minutes of quote-unquote extra time. So it wasn't sudden death. Even if a team scored, you still have to allow for that 30 minutes plus the injury time. Now, Senegal missed a golden opportunity in the 109th minute when Senegal, of course, fired wide from the penalty spot and Dude rattled the crossbar in 117th minute. So both teams had opportunities here, okay, especially in the second part of the overtime or extra time, I should say. Both teams prepared themselves for a penalty shootout. The defining moment arrived in the 120th minute, folks. Okay, so 90 minutes usually is the whole game, plus, of course, stoppage time. I get all that. Then you add another 30 minutes. So that would have equaled 120 minutes. Okay, right there, just not even a minute left into the game until they went into the penalty kicks. Tillemans drove into the box and was brought down by a sliding challenge from Kamara of Senegal. After play initially continued, okay, VAR called down to the referee to the monitor. This was moments later. It wasn't at the time. It was moments later. Following a tense review, the referee pointed to the spot in the 125th minute. Okay, he stepped up under pressure and smashed his penalty into the top corner and completed, of course, the historic turnaround. I thought that was a terrible call. That was by the ref and by VAR. You let it play out. It plays out. It goes into penalty kicks. And then again, if you die on your sword, you die on. You fall on your sword, you fall on your sword. So be it. Okay. I thought that was a terrible call. I looked at it in slow motion. I don't think it was really that bad. I don't think it was really that, hey, that's my opinion. I've been covering this sport for a very, 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 very long time, my friends. Okay. And I can assure you that I'm very passionate about the sport. I cannot believe that VAR would call down, not right, like that, but the referee just said, all right, hey, let's play on, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes to the monitor, and then he still had the right to do the right thing. I do not see a clear and indisputable evidence that showed where that was a penalty kick. Nevertheless, we move on. With this thoroughly emotional victory, Belgium survives and advances to the round of 16, where they will, of course, face the winner here, which is, of course, the United States of America, which I will talk about Team USA in just a moment. For Senegal, it's a devastating exit after another otherwise brilliant and courageous performance by them. I am heartbroken. I can't believe that it came down to that. I can't. I'm still, there's been a lot of great games here, folks, and I just cannot believe it continued to do, the exit like that. Excuse me. Let me grab some coffee. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. I disagree. I truly disagree. I truly disagree. Don't put it in the hands of the ref, and we could talk about for other sports too, but we definitely on a time crunch here. So let's continue. Let's talk about Team USA and Bosnia. Team USA, we hit on the first half here, guys. I mentioned, hey, hit the first half. I know Shane O'Mac hit that at plus 125. We got it at plus 105. So I'm glad that we at least got a little pizza money on that and won that match. I did not get the correct score on 3-1. I think US had an opportunity to score 3 goals. Okay, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And I think Bosnia had an opportunity, of course, to score a goal here. But glad that they win 2-0 and they move on. Let's talk about the U.S. National team. Securing a historic and gritty 2-0 shutout over Bosnia, making only the second time that since 1930 that Team USA has won a World Cup knockout stage match. Excuse me. The other being against Mexico in 2002. It was a roller coaster of emotions for the squad here. Despite controlling much of the first half, the U.S. had to withstand early Bosnian threats and an offsides canceled goal before breaking through just before halftime. The narrative shifted dramatically in the second half when the star, Balogun, who scored, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, went from hero to villain, receiving a straight red card. Okay, that's my concern. I don't think, based on what it's and I understand it wasn't malicious or anything. It was not intentional at all. I've looked at it for about a half an hour. in slow motion in multiple angles, I do not see that being a red card. A yellow card, sure. I thought when he got it, and I said, hey, maybe, because I was on the show with Shane O'Mac and we were watching the game, or I was watching, parts of it. So I went back and looked at it. I thought he had a yellow card prior. Did not. He had a red card, straight red card. That's why I say that. Usually 2 yellows equals red, for those who know, but not happy about that. Forced to play a man down for over 35 minutes. The Team USA adapted beautifully, knocked down the defensively, and sealing the victory with a moment of individual brilliance. Let's talk about the goals here, guys. 1-0 for Team USA. Beauregard, who was given a straight red card. Team captain Tim Ream intercepted a long ball at midfield and fed Tyler Adams, who pushed it ahead to, of course, Tilleman. Tilleman threaded a pass to Beauregard that caught a couple of deflections off the Benizians' defense. Beauregard kept his composure, collected the ball, and slotted a low left-footed strike past the Benizian goalkeeper. He celebrated with the LeBron James iconic silencer celebration. Fine. 82nd minute, 2-0. Malik Talaman. Moments after the Christian Pulisic, who actually started, goal was called back for offsides. The U.S. entered a direct free kick about 20 yards out, putting on a fresh red right boot. Just moments prior, Tilleman curled a masterful right-footed strike over the wall. The goalkeeper, of course, caught a hand to it, but couldn't stop the pace, sending the home crowd into an absolute pandemonium. Let's move down to what took place here in regards to what's going to take place in the quarterfinals. The Americans head north to Seattle for a massive round of 16 clash with Belgium on July the 6th. However, this is a key thing here, guys. They will have to do without their primary target man, Beauregard, who will be suspended due to the red card. So how this works here, guys, is that you're given a red card, you're out for the rest of that game. With that red card, you also are suspended for the next game if your team qualifies. Obviously, Team USA qualified. So he is suspended. Now, the good news is Team USA does have some depth, but this is a loss. This is a big loss. I think it'll be a good game. I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but I think they have an opportunity to beat Belgium, especially in their backyard. So in Seattle, I wish them the very best. I do see a lot. I see the explanation from FIFA. I understand what they're saying. I completely disagree. A yellow card? Absolutely. No, hands down. It was not intentional. It didn't seem like there was any type of, they're claiming that, hey, he could have broken the guy's ankle. I disagree. Completely disagree. If it was a kick to the face, if there was blood, sure, I can understand the red card. Not happy with the referees yesterday. As you know, folks, I love the sport. I'm very passionate about it. I'm glad that I'm able to cover it for you guys. But Team USA, I wish you the best of luck. I think I will definitely be rooting for you on July 6th. And go Team USA. They will definitely bounce back, regroup, improvise, and, of course, adapt to the situation. All right, folks, I'm going to take a quick break here, and then when we return, we will talk about 3 games. One of them being, of course, the Portugal and Croatia game here next on Just Win Footy Bets. All right, welcome back, of course, to Just Win Footy Bets. JoeDaFan here, and we've got 3 important games as we start to come to the end of round 32 in this great tournament known as FIFA World Cup. Let's take a look at game number 1. That's going to take place at 3 o'clock. That's a couple of hours away from now. And this, of course, is taking place in Inglewood, California. As Spain takes on Austria. You can look at the numbers there, guys. -335, +460 for halftime. for the draw, and then 1050 for Austria. Spain coming in as the number one winner of Group H. The second place of Group J is, of course, Austria, as they, of course, earn that spot. I will, of course, break down what we have right off the bat. Both teams to score. It's possible. It's possible. I do like Spain winning at halftime at minus 137. I will tell you that. That might be a little piece of money on that, but let's break that down right now for you. With your excitement is dialed into this, of course, group stage. The groups into the stage of 32 here. We are, of course, excited to see this game again taking place in Inglewood, California, at SoFi Stadium. Let's talk about the masters of control. I'm talking about Spain, España, asserting absolute dominance. While they stumbled in a surprising 0-0 draw to Cape Verde, they comfortably handled Saudi Arabia 4-0 and grounded out a mature win against Uruguay 1-0. The blueprint is very simple for Spain. Unstoppable possession, Spain has averaged a tournament high of 69.4% of possession and a 91% pass accuracy. Those are very, very good numbers, especially in this game. You talk about the Great Wall, La Roja, meaning red, along with Mexico, is the only team yet to concede a goal in this tournament. So, like I said, just like Mexico, they haven't conceded a goal yet. The back line anchored by, of course, the great Brazilians, Laporte as being one of them, has restricted opponents to just 4 shots from inside the box all tournament. I think that continues, guys. Just keep that in mind. The key player here, of course, Real Soledad, is who he plays for in La Liga. Frontman has been the lethal edge of Spain's attack, netting 2 goals and an assist during the group stage, supporting by a electric Yamal. Out wide, he'll be tasked with breaking down Austria's shape. I think the reason why they had Yamal not play in the first game, people can always talk about that and argue about that, hey, what they want to do, but it is what it is. We move forward. Austria, of course, survived a chaotic Group J to finish second behind Argentina. They played out a thrilling 3-3 draw with Algeria and beat, of course, Jordan 3-1, but their high-stakes style leaves them exposed at the back end. Here's their blueprint here, guys. High energy and just direct transition. Austria wants to disrupt Spain's midfield. Pivot, of course, Rodri and Petre, of course, of Spain. They will look to trigger heavy traps, turn over possession, and find, of course, the ageless Marko Arnautovic immediately. So this is somebody that they need to look for. They need to look for Marco early if they want to have a chance to take on, put at least a goal up against Spain. 6 goals conceded in this group, while Austria has plenty of Bundesliga tested steel in Lemire and, of course, in Xavier Schulag. They lack the recovery speed to chase, of course, Jamal or Nico Williams. If Spain breaks into their initial press, it might be lights out very early for Team Austria. Here's how I see it. Austria will not sit back and let Spain pass them into oblivion. I think Rednick's philosophy dictates that they go down swinging. Expect a furious opening 20 minutes from the Austrians trying to rattle, of course, Rodri. We talked about that earlier. However, Spain's technical security is uniquely designed to bypass aggressive presses. So once La Roja solves the initial wave, the game will settle into a low-risk, suffocating rhythm. Spain tends to manage leads safely rather than chasing blowout scorelines in the knockouts, and their spotless defensive record should stay intact against an Austrian front line carrying a few knocks. So as we look at, of course, what we have. I've got the spread. My 1 unit play will be the following. Is España -1.5 on the Asian handicap at -105. Here's the other thing that I like, guys. I'm going to say it right now for you. Let's see here. I'm pulling this up. I'm going to grab some coffee. I mentioned the Spain at halftime. Did that number change? We're going to double check here. I'm going to go unit, a little bit over a unit on this one. If it stays the same, going over to halftime right now. Again, these numbers are subject to change. -139. That's not bad to lead at halftime. I'm going to go a little over a unit on that. And we'll see what I have there. So let's go to lead at halftime at -139. You're paying a little bit of the juice. That's fine. But also you're paying 5 cents on the juice when it comes to Spain. That's going to be my official play. España, Spain, -1.5 on the Asian handicap on the spread. Okay. And that pays at -105. So let's move to the next game. Of course, I'm talking about Portugal taking on Croatia. This, of course, is going to take place at later on in the evening. So keep that in mind, guys. 3 o'clock is the first game. 7 o'clock, of course, is the second game. These are games that, of course, it's going to be very, 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 very late. This is going to take place in Toronto, Canada. So let's talk about this one, my friends. The round of 32 features a highly anticipated matchup, of course, of these two European heavyweights clash into a single elimination battle. Both teams navigated turbulent group stages to get here, finishing as the runner-up for both in their respective groups. Portugal enters as a clear betting favorite, but Croatia's legendary knockout resilience make them an incredibly dangerous fixture. I understand that, and I believe that's going to be the case. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Adding to the narrative weight, this match features a historic generational battle that could serve as the final World Cup chapter for these two iconic captains. I'm, of course, talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, who's 41 years old. Luka Modric, of course, is 40 years old. Getting a little bit, a little more wear in the tires, if you know what I mean. But let's talk about Portugal. Let's break that down. Their full throttle deep attack, Portugal advances to out of the Group K with a mixed bag of results. 1 win and 2 draws, guys. No defeats, which included a dominant 5-0 routing of Uzbekistan, but left questions about their consistencies under their manager, Roberto Martinez. I think they changed some stuff here. I think they do. I like Roberto Martinez. I think he's a very, very well coach. He's a good skipper manager. But this is the strategy here. Portugal boasts an embarrassing wealth of attacking talent. They've got talent up the wazoo. Considered one of the odds-on favorites. I did not pick them. As you know, I picked France to win it all, 5-1. They will look, of course, to expose Croatia's lack of lateral speed out wide. Expect wide overloads, utilizing the devastating pace and overlapping runs, of course, by Nuno Mendes on the left flank. Here is the X factor. Neves, 21-year-old kid. I like this kid. This youngster has already scored in the tournament and brings a ferocious, high intense press. His primary job will be hounding, of course, the legendary Luka Modric on the left. To force turnovers in a dangerous transitional areas. It's going to be a tough task. It's going to be a tough task for this young lad, but we'll see what happens. Croatia, let's talk about them real quick. Their path through Group L was a roller coaster. After a heavy 4-2 opening defeat to England that exposed severe defensive vulnerabilities against the pace here, the men of Croatia show their trademark grit by bouncing back with wins over Panama 1-0 and Ghana 2-1. So the strategy is very simple. Control, slow down, and suffocate Spain. Or not Spain, Portugal. They'll try to do that. Croatia cannot match Portugal's depth or pure speed. They rely, of course, on the legend Luka Modric and Mateo Kovacic to dictate a slower tempo, keep possession under pressure, and turn the match into a tactical chess match. Sorry, somebody was just said something to me. All right, texted me. Sorry. The X factor here is whether deployed at a left back or centrally. I'm talking about Josko. He represents Croatia's elite tier of defensive quality. He will be tasked with tracking Ronaldo's movement in the box and anchoring a backline that must be drastically more disciplined than it was against England. England, I think there was a little bit of the nerves, and that's why he didn't do that well, but I think he will be okay. Let's talk about this match. I do think it's going to be Portugal 3-1, maybe a 2-0 for Portugal. I would say under 2.5 goals. If you look at that, but that's a little bit too much on the juice right there. As we look at the there, it's at minus 136. No, excuse me, under a plus 105. I go a little pizza money on that. To be honest with you. So I don't know. Based on my model, I see 2-0. But I'll tell you this. I do see Portugal, and that again has changed. It was at plus 123 this morning. It's now down to minus 139. So, it is interesting to see what will take place here. But Portugal does qualify. I think they move on. But it would not surprise me if this goes into extra time. It does not surprise me if this goes to penalty kicks. So we'll look at that real quick, guys, as how that would look in penalty kicks and penals. I'm going to look at it right now. We're going to put a little pizza money on that. And what you want to do, again, Portugal, Croatia to win in penalty kicks. So we got regulation time. Goals. Team props. Okay, it's coming. It's loading. I don't see where it is going to happen again in I think it happened in stoppage time. Method of victory. That's where you want to go. Sorry about that. Portugal in the shootout. That's 13-1. I like that. I'm gonna go a little pizza money on that. If it goes into overtime, yes, it does. I think it goes into extra time. When I say overtime, I mean extra time, guys. So, but I do see Portugal to win in penalty kicks. Okay, so 13-1. Check that out on FanDuel. That's going to be my lean there. But I'm going to go with, of course, the halftime. That's going to be a 1-unit play for me on that. I could see Croatia and Portugal both scoring there. Both teams to score at minus 132. That's now changed. I could see that happen. I'll put a little pizza money on that, but I'll also put a little pizza money on under 2.5 goals at plus 105. As we move to the next game here, guys, I'm referring to, of course, the late night game of Switzerland and Algeria. As you can see here, Switzerland winning their group in Group B. Third place, taking on the third place winner in Group J, or the team that actually qualified from that. But let's talk about that real quick. And their intriguing narrative clash here is going to take place in BC Place in Vancouver. But keep in mind that a lot of things that are happening in Canada as well. We have our good friend JD Money, who covers, of course, this Canadian Football League. So they're going to have a game, of course, not in the same stadium, but that's taking place over in Canada. So check that out. Check out our website, justwinbetsbaby.com. And you see we cover over 20 leagues. Soccer, we've got football, basketball, baseball, hockey. Obviously, hockey's not going on now, but the WNBA that's going on, Major League Baseball that's going on, Wimbledon. We're doing great at Wimbledon. So check us out. All right, back to this the game here. The Swiss, of course, marched through Group B undefeated, picking up 7 points, 4-1 over Bosnia, 2-1 over Canada, 1-1 draw with Qatar. They're highly structured, experienced knockout team seeking to finally shatter the round of 16 glass ceiling. There's a 20-year-old kid, Zombie, okay, midfielder that has been the breakout star of the tournament, racking up 3 goals and assists despite only starting 1 group game. So they've got a very good squad in Switzerland. As we look at Algeria, it's pretty much a high-octane chaos here as they reach the knockout by the skin of their teeth. There's been talks about maybe South Korea making it, and I thought South Korea was going to make it, but clearly they didn't take care of business. Algeria, again, barely gets in. After a heavy 3-0 opening defeat to Argentina, they bounce back to defeat Jordan 2-1 and squeeze through following a wild, dramatic 3-3 draw against Austria, sealed by a 93rd minute equalizer by them. I'm very happy for Algeria making it, but yeah. We'll see what happens. There are a little, I say there's a little bit of an age difference, to be nice about it. They have a captain who's actually 35 that still carries a creative and clinical burden, already netting twice in the tournament alongside Amora's electric pace. Algeria can punish anyone on the counter. The defense, conceding 6 goals in 3 group games, highlights a fragile backline that continues to struggle when stretched. Here's my prediction: is while Algeria, possesses the sheer star power to pull off a moment of magic, tournament football heavily favors defensive stability and structural discipline. Algeria's leaky backline is exactly the kind of weakness and clinical patient Swiss team will systematically pick apart. I expect Petkovic to set up a cautious low block Algeria to frustrate his former team, but Switzerland's depth and midfield control should ultimately wear them down. I do see 2-1 here. I do see Switzerland winning that. If you want, guys, it's going to be close. Under 2.5 goals, it's a possibility. It's just, to me, it's too much. 152 is way too much of the juice there. Switzerland does take care of business. There's no question about it. Excuse me. So as I'm pulling this up, let's take a look at what I have here. I'm going to go with an Asian handicap here. I'm going to go under 2.25 goals on the Asian handicap at -110. I think that I think it's going to be very low scoring, even though Switzerland, it might be just 2-0, and I don't think Algeria gets in. But I'm going to take a gamble here. That's going to be my lean in this game, pretty much. I would like to do another lean here, guys. The draw, Switzerland and Algeria +112. It's going to be interesting. I mean, Algeria is a little leaky, but that number is a little bothering. And what I mean by that is I think it's too good to be true. This could be a trap for me. But I'm going to pay the price here. Let me go the draw at halftime in the Switzerland-Algeria game draw at +112. I will put I'll do a pizza bet on that one as well as we come, of course, to the end of the program. Again, we truly appreciate you spending time with us this afternoon. Wanted to have some time to rest a little bit more and do some other things. But yeah, we truly appreciate you logging on and catching us. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up. Really helps the channel. Guys, good luck to you on your bets. We will be back, of course, tomorrow morning, regular time, 10 o'clock, for, of course, the final 3 matches for the round of 32. Until then, I'm JoeDaFan. Have a good day. Good luck on your bets, and we will see you next time. Take care.